Thank you, Program Director. I'm honored to be able to present here on this platform in front of the Chancellor of UNISA, former President Thabo Mbeki. And I'd also like to greet the Ambassador in Song Tien and the Chief of Amambondo. It seems to me from other presentations here, we're all here about one thing. We're here about change. The word change is prominent and is kicking us. But at the same time, as Africa, on how we react to the world, it seems like we're in shock. We don't believe in the favors or in the favorable situation that we're getting through the paradigm shift that is happening. So I have a couple of words to say. So change is very painful in general. Change is painful even to the prisoner who's been imprisoned. When he comes out of prison, he's supposedly to be happy because he's coming to freedom, but we seem to be stuck in the prisons of our minds. That's what Africa is going through at the moment. And in reflecting on the speech is in terms of globalization. We've had globalization, as Chancellor of UNISA, Ntate Thabo Mbeki, mentioned that we've had globalization, a neoliberal form of globalization being spoon-fed on us as if it's a form of breathing, that if you don't follow this globalization, therefore you won't get oxygen, you'll die. But is it true? No. Suddenly, around the corner, just before the end of last century, we had a new negotiated relationship. For the first time in history, let me say again, for the first time in history, we had a person that, or people that have the power of being world leaders coming to us, knocking at our doors. As Dr. Ntube said, that we as sovereign states, we don't have the power to negotiate with bigger powers. But here we found a relationship that is a negotiated relationship. Now the question is, what are we going to do with this opportunity? To speak in shorthand, China-Africa relationship will be what we do of it. Within two prisms, as Ntate Thabo Mbeki said also in Senegal, that we have to respond to the issues of a philosophy of thinking and the philosophy of practice. And that brings into question our education system and the way we think that we're educated. When you're a professor, you think that you have arrived. Newsflash, you have not arrived. You've just come across professorship in your quest of using the changes that are in front of you. You are already of the past generation. In other seasons, they say passé, then there is a future. You as a professor or you as a leader, you actually serve as the platform for the young generation to climb on top of you, not vice versa. So take off your suit. I don't mean literally. I mean the suits that we tend, like, I finished my first degree, my honors, my masters. I can't even walk normally. I know people who have to go for orthopedic surgery because their shoulders. It is therefore fitting that this interactive section is hosted in TMALI. I call TMALI a dream catcher. We've had many dreamers here. In order to find themselves, they had to go through some introspection. In order to re-engineer themselves, they had to come to this dream catcher, which we call TMALI. But TMALI is not only for agents, is not only a platform to produce agents for change, no. It is also a platform to produce revivalists. Because before colonialism, we had life. After colonialism, we had life. Even now, we still have life. Change. There is normal change. But change that we're reflecting upon now is the change from trauma in order for us to become normal again. Let us accept that. Africa is in a crisis. So for the youngsters, I'm old, I can no longer run. To the youngsters, I'm saying, hit the ground running. Get your first degree, throw it out there, go, hit the ground running, amass knowledge. And how do you amass knowledge? You amass knowledge not by going through the formal institutions of education. Hit all the doors. These institutions of education, unfortunately, they are archaic, based in the dichotomy or duality, Cartesian duality of the 15th century modernity. There is new knowledge in town. And this form of knowledge, which started from first industrial revolution, centralized conveyor belt system, second industrial revolution, centralized conveyor belts. Unfortunately, South Africa is stuck there and the rest of Africa. Third industrial revolution, democratization of information. You remember those old days when letters came into the house, those old letters will be on the table for father to distribute them and read them. What will your father do today when you have your own cell phone? You don't even need a physical letter. Does he have right to say or what you don't consume? Actually, youngsters of today have more responsibility to be more conscious. So that's why I'm calling this a revival agents. TMALI is a platform for that because you are also reviving something that you're not aware of. The liberation struggle called us to arrest the ethical moment of Ubuntu. See, to Saruna. We had to arrest that in order for us to come back and take back our rights as Africans and as South Africans. Now, it is your duty to get rid of those nyaupes, to get rid of all the crime that happens there, to put the mother first. Of course, in the African culture, the woman is the center of everything. It is therefore imperative that our TMALI alumni dedicate themselves to promoting ethical consciousness that places high premium on societal upliftment. Essence of Africa-China relations. It is my belief that TMALI has a unique opportunity in fostering best understanding between the continent of Africa and the People's Republic of China. There can be no doubt that the early 21st century, the whole world is witnessing a paradigm shift, not only about the rise and ascendance of China, but related the close relationship between China, South Africa, and Africa, such as it is already having an impact on African countries, big or small, developed or developing. Africa-China relations present a rare opportunity to rewrite the terms of late capitalism, of globalization. Here I'm paraphrasing what Ntate Thabo Mbeki said in Senegal. For the fourth industrial revolution. While all other historical societal changes had industrialization and modernization as central driving determining forces, Africa-China relations look set to reorient our understanding of the new world order in this century, centered on a negotiated relationship of win-win outcomes. The type of respectful negotiated relationship are witnessed in Africa-China relationship is arguably the first of its kind in human history. But what exactly are advantages and benefits of Africa-China negotiated relationships as witnessed under strategic framework of FOCAC and extended into platforms like BRICS and the Road and Belt Initiative? Africa-China negotiated relationship represent a practical platform for tangible benefits. Let me cite a few deliverables. These are represented by 1,000 kilometers of road, including high-quality highways, more than 6,000 kilometer railway, construction of more than 2,000 schools, 80 stadiums, more than 20 seaports, 20 airports, all financed by China on the African continent. These include the rollout of communication platforms developed by China on the continent, spearheaded by Huawei and ZTE. One point here, as Africans, we don't have the liberty to experience this because, as South Africans, I mean to say, because South Africa already has a reasonable infrastructure. But if you visit countries like Kenya, Ethiopia, and all that, you are going to see the changes that are on the ground. Moving forward, there are other presently negotiated partnerships investments, including the $60 billion pledge made during the FOCAC, $1,000 billion BRICS New Development Bank, which has here in South Africa, African office for that, and the Asia Infrastructure Bank. So, in answering if we are ready to harness and draw benefits from Africa-China relationships, I usually say that Africa suffers from 3 bottlenecks. And these 3 bottlenecks, they are going to make us miss the train of this new kind of globalization, the opportune moment that might allow us as Africans to reinvent ourselves. The first bottleneck is that our leadership, or should I call it our rulership, one of the terms that I took from the conference as well, they tend to read from the old book whilst they eat from the new book. And the irony is, the new book has been written by the new independent state. South Africa wrote that book in 1994. This is the new book I'm talking about. But when we structure and rationalize our way forward, we tend to read from the old book. The second, we can talk here for weeks about the new book and the old book. The second bottleneck is that witnessed in the discrepancy or non-alignment between policy and law. And South Africa is not innocent in this aspect as well. We've got lots of progressive policies which are not proclamated into law. So when people read policy, they think it's law. But people who come from outside to invest in South Africa or do partnerships with South Africa, they get nervous because they are hindered by policies that are not in the book of law. And that is making us lose a lot. There are some projects in Limpopo today that are stagnant exactly because of that. In South Africa, to change agricultural land to a manufacturing land, it takes something like 26 licenses. And in South Africa, each and every license takes 3 to 6 months. Now, am I going to sit here with my $10 billion waiting for that? So, I'm not only talking in terms of national African governments, I'm also talking about one stop in local municipalities. Local municipalities need to be given more autonomy so that we are able to take the opportunity of China-Africa relations. The third bottleneck, which is the worst of all, the third bottleneck comes also from our former masters. Our former masters, as in the issue of the Sino-American War, our former masters have a knee-jerk reaction by China's presence in Africa. And we tend to join that narrative as well as Africans. So what I'm trying to say, that bottleneck is based on the lack of public awareness. For example, people are not aware that there are more than 8 measures of financing in South Africa or in Africa between China and Africa relations or China and Africa cooperation. And these 8 measures, most of them are housed here in Johannesburg. I can name CAT Fund. I can name the BRICS Bank. I can name the CRA, the Contingent Reserve Arrangement, which is there to balance your currency in case the greenback goes up and down. Now, why am I bringing all of this jargon here when we're supposed to talk about TMALI? It is because TMALI is the nexus of the new African. Don't look at the benefits on the good of you in the main image of the other. And that has been the tendency of most Africans. That we forget about our own dream. We always look beyond in order to be ourselves. We are going to fail. So, in ending my not so short talk, youngsters, please hit the ground running, amass knowledge, allow yourself to think. Allow yourself to think. Use all instruments of knowledge. WhatsApp and your cell phone is not only for Manguratamang. You can program relationships. Let's talk for a second on Fourth Industrial Revolution. I can design a pen here sitting in Africa, send it to Japan online, they redesign it. They can print it back, and it comes out here, and I take it. Fourth Industrial Revolution is an amalgamation, embeddedness of humans and machines. Do you want to be left behind? Unfortunately, First Industrial Revolution, you had to wait 2 years for your trouser to come from the US. Third Industrial Revolution, you had to wait for another year for your laptop to reach you. Fourth Industrial Revolution waits for no one. Now it's up to you if you want to remain a slave or a proud African. Thank you.